Hi everyone, my name is Prachi Bishnoi and I'm the editor of the Sustainable Brands Journal, and today we are at Sports Impact Summit at the Atlantis, Dubai, and I am with Kim, who is the Director of Sustainability at McLaren, and we would love to know everything McLaren is doing in sustainability at today's event. So over to you, Kim.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's really exciting to be at this event today.
I wanted to start with the F1 car initiative that you have launched. Yes, we read about it, that F1 car is a remarkable innovation and it's made completely out of recycled products, carbon fiber, and its potential impact on the industry. So can you explain about it?
Yeah, so we're not quite there yet. It's an ambition. So McLaren Racing, yeah, absolutely. So McLaren Racing, we have set an ambition to research and develop a circular Formula One car. We are very much in a society where we waste too much. And researching and developing a Formula One car, 80% of the car is different at the end of the season from the beginning of the season. That takes a lot of research and development and material. So a lot of what you see on track is just the tip of the iceberg of the materials that we have to use to be at the pinnacle and the forefront of innovation in that space. So it's also a really important part of our objectives around achieving net zero by 2040. We have a science-based target validated by the Science Based Targets Initiative to halve our emissions by 2030 and achieve net zero by 2040. And a really significant part of that is the materials that we use and buy for the car. So there's a dual benefit, the circularity. So what we have done is twofold. First of all, we have been looking around at what we can do to do better with the waste that we already produce. Not send waste to landfill, try and find recycling solutions within the infrastructure that we have, but also to trial innovative materials. So we were the first team to use carbon fiber on the car. And now we're using recycled carbon fiber. We found an amazing partner called V Carbon who are taking waste from the aerospace industry and then making high quality, high performance recycled carbon fiber. And we were the first team to trial that on the in Austin last year. So we then trialed it in Silverstone on a more structurally significant part of the car, and we will continue on that journey of doing that.
But how do you think, is it working, or is it
absolutely it's working? It's more expensive than virgin carbon fiber, but it's 90% less carbon intensive and performing at a similar level. So where we have to go to next is we have to look at scale, and we have to look at where the wider applications might be. So how exciting that this could, if we can prove the concept, and that's what we keep doing and trialing over time, it could be on sailboats, it could be on golf cups, tennis rackets, but on wider industry.
Motorsport, how does McLaren envision its sustainability innovation contribution? So as in to broader societal benefits outside of racing. So you feel that this innovation, we can implement it with other sectors,
absolutely,
other places.
So
I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So recycled carbon fiber is just one example. There are so many other things on the car. We use a lot of metal. So again, metal that is recycled, metal that is made in a more sustainable way with renewable energy would be another focus area. So there's a big project that we need to do in that space, and I can talk to you in a bit about some of our other climate solution projects.
So we also get to know that you have partnered with Deloitte to share sustainability data, which is allowed to be shared with competitors. It's kind of a groundbreaking initiative. What motivated you to take this unique approach, and how do you see that this open source model will help McLaren and other people around?
So we live in a world of finite resources. So from a business sense, we have to make sure that we have supply chains that are robust in place to ensure that we have the materials available to produce things on the car. So we wanted to do that. We also need to make sure that we are data-driven in the things that we focus our efforts on, and we learn from the culture and the mindset of Formula One. So how we know that what gets measured gets managed, and that's what we're doing with Deloitte. So in the same way that we have the greenhouse gas protocol to measure carbon footprints, that's now industry standard. And gosh, I was there back in the day when we were developing that over 20 years ago. We're now in that space for circularity, and circularity is absolutely needed to help achieve our carbon emissions reduction targets as well. So this is a pilot project to, first of all, measure how circular are the materials that we're using. And then once you do that, you can identify the roadmaps and the pathways on how to improve that over time. So Deloitte work with the World Business Council for Sustainable Development and organisations that are working on the Global Circularity Protocol. So this is a pioneering practical application in a pioneering industry that's leaning forward to do that. It is. So we are working right now on how... Absolutely. So we are at the stage where we've got a theoretical protocol, and we're now trying to apply it to McLaren. We will then use that to tweak and address to make it practical to apply for all teams. And we are then going to hand that over to the FIA and all hope that all teams will adopt this, and we can then use it to drive technical regulation change to then incentivize more investment in sustainable materials. That's the plan.
Investment is a big part right now, I think, for doing any kind of researches in this vertical. A lot of money is going. Plus, I think the sustainable technologies are turning out to be more expensive because they're not scaled at the moment.
You've got to start somewhere.
Absolutely. So what are the major obstacles you're facing right now in implementing recycled material at the highest levels of motorsport? Because as I said, it's a fast adventure sport, let's say that, at a very high speed, let's say, and when lives are involved. Correct.
Yeah, we're never going to compromise safety. We're never going to compromise on-track performance. We've worked too hard to come back to where we are. But we absolutely have that innovation mindset in Formula One and research and development. So we will do those lab tests. We will look for new materials, and we'll try them like we have with recycled carbon fibre in places on the car, on track, where we know it's not going to have a material impact. Prove the concept and then move on. And that's absolutely super important.
Any main obstacle or challenge that you would want to highlight?
So for us, one of the big challenges we have faced is,
facing maybe right now.
Yeah, we have faced and continue to face is scale. You've talked about that, and cost. And what that has proven is that we've had to work with our regulator and come together with other teams and collaborate to show that we need to adjust the regulations to enable us to invest.
Right.
And that's been super important. We've had some success. So our CEO was very, very vocal about the fact that we work in a cost cap environment where everything you spend is included within your budget and your cap, unless there is an exclusion clause. And there wasn't one for sustainability when it was first developed because nobody thought about it at the time. We've now course corrected that. And that enables us to do some things in that space, but we're in a competitive world, and anything that touches on the car is something that we have to think about.
Highest quality.
Absolutely. So the next stage is proving the concept on things like circularity measurement, on things like the recycled carbon fibre, and then working with the regulator and the other teams to find solutions to open up opportunities in the technical regulations. So the way those work is that the car has some components and materials that are specified. So why not make everyone use a more sustainable material if we can prove that? So we level the playing field, or open up opportunities where maybe the regulations say X percentage of this car or X weight of the car has to come from these materials. So
physics involved.
Exactly. So those are the opportunities and barriers, but it's exciting.
Do you think, it's very exciting. Do you think that McLaren is on the path of becoming the most futuristic brand in the F1 circuit right now? Or do you think there are more brands who are trying to catch up with the sustainability bandwagon? Or I think at the luxury space, nobody is kind of really able to catch up or trying to. The very few brands who are talking about it. I'm talking luxury in general, not just cars, like luxury in fashion, in cars, in lifestyle, because luxury comes at a cost which doesn't talk about sustainability at all.
Well, the beauty is when we can achieve luxury and sustainability without necessarily making people think they're having to make that choice. Wouldn't that be incredible?
That will be the biggest win.
Yeah.
That I think we all are striving for at the moment, not compromising the luxury part of that we are all accustomed or get used to it now.
Yeah.
And also becoming sustainable and planet conscious at the same time.
But I think it's important that we don't wait for the perfect solution. We've always got to experiment and keep trying. We will fail on some things. We will get some things wrong, but then we pivot, we fail fast, and we move on and we try something else.
Absolutely.
That's important.
Amazing. So I would more interested in knowing, what do you see McLaren's sustainability initiatives heading in the next 5 years? Besides F1, yes, how will you how do you think you're going to redefine the whole F1 scene? Which I just said, that is McLaren being one of the most futuristic brand who's already started talking about sustainability, and the other initiatives that McLaren is taking at the moment.
Absolutely. So get our house in order.
Yeah.
Reduce our impacts. Be creative and innovative about leaning into technology and innovation around materials for development of the car and circularity, but also making sure we continue on that path of reducing our emissions. That's the baseline basics. And I would say in my remit, I also do look after social sustainability, so health and well-being, and making our sport more welcome to people from all backgrounds is also a big part. Diversity and inclusion is a really big part of our agenda, but I'll focus on the environment for today.
Yes.
The other thing, of course, is that F1 has such an incredible platform, both in terms of our fan base and the way people look up to us as a brand and a sport, but also with all of the partners that we work with and the incredible brands that when you collaborate, you come up with great results like Deloitte. But the other thing is, F1 has a history of giving back innovation and technology to society. So that's why we have our climate contribution program at McLaren Racing, because we need climate solutions. We need them faster and we need them now. So we have 3 projects we launched at the end of last year, trying to achieve 2 things. One is accelerating and scaling the removal of excess carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, because to achieve net zero, we need to do that. So we have a project called Undo, which is about,
That's nice.
It's about enhanced rock weathering, so speeding up the natural process of weathering rock and storing carbon, and then having co-benefits for soil health and agriculture.
Yeah.
Restoring the Brazilian Amazon with biodiverse species.
That's amazing.
So it's a project called Momback, and that's a really important piece around also biodiversity.
A lot of Amazon forest got destroyed with that forest fires that happened few back, and I think it's a great initiative to kind of restore, and I'm sure that a huge amount of forest been destroyed in that forest fires.
Absolutely, and this is a project that's taking degraded cattle, pasture land and farming land and restoring it back to forest. And then the third one is all about restoring damaged ecosystems, and we are working with the Great Barrier Reef Foundation, and that's a super exciting project. It's taking our F1 engineers, our F1 know-how and mindset, putting them together with marine scientists. What a crazy combination of cars and coral, but it absolutely makes sense, because what we're doing is we are taking an engineering approach to looking at how to take heat-tolerant corals, grow them in a laboratory, put them into a cradle that then can be planted onto the reef by scuba divers.
Oh, wow.
But at the moment, you can plant about 100,000 a year at a cost of 15 Australian dollars per coral. But we're now working on automation so that we can figure out how to do that in the scale of millions a year, and we can reduce the cost to $1 a coral. And we're creating with the marine scientists a machine to be able to do that. And we hope that can then be taken out into, whether it's onto the Great Barrier Reef, onto Pacific Islands, around the world, to basically enable both small-scale traditional owners and local economies to do this and play their part, as well as maybe do mass manufacturing approach as well.
That's amazing. I'm really glad to hear that, because I think brands like McLaren and other big brands in the world who kind of own a big chunk of, let's say, the pie when it comes to the global bigger pie. I think it's very important from their side to take bigger initiatives to create larger impacts on lives or on ocean or soil. And I think these sounds really amazing. And I really want to wish you all the best. Thank you. You'll be able to create the first F1 fully recycled material built car. And we're looking forward to it. Thanks for giving your time to us. Would you want to just say anything to the people who are watching about the F1 or anything around it?
All I would say is I think anyone who thinks that sustainability and Formula One don't go together, I'm hoping that this has changed your mind. We are really taking this very seriously, and we want to work with everyone who wants to collaborate with us to come on that journey too.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kim, for being a part of the Sustainable Brands Journal.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.